Welcome back to the MMA Creators Podcast, episode 22. I'm Leo Cooper from Leo Cooper MMA on YouTube. I'm joined by myself and Will from Casual's Corner. You know the drill. And we have a very special guest on this week. Second guest ever. It's Kyndle, or Kyndle MMA on YouTube. How are you, bro?
Good. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing stellar, mate. Doing stellar. Yeah, we're just gonna have a chat, man. We were wondering if this was gonna be like a interview sort of vibe, but honestly, like, because we're all in the same space here, we were like, let's just have a chat, man, and get on with it. Because we were trying to get different perspectives on different creators in this space. That's kind of our goal as of late, with where we're taking the podcast. So I just want to jump into it. What's content creation been like for you, like this week, bro? Like, how's it been going? Because we know how it's like, those weeks where it's just rough.
For me, or
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on vacation all week, so I haven't really been doing too much actually. So I've been kind of slacking in that department. But I mean, it's been a dead week so far because we haven't had a UFC card at all this week, and we had the Ngannou fight yesterday, which was
we're gonna get into that.
A whole different fiasco. I mean, people were screaming robbery, but I don't really know.
I'm with you there.
I don't really know.
That's it.
It's more the fact that Ngannou kind of made it close, in my opinion. That's why people are kind of, I wouldn't say overreacting, but they're kind of actually are overreacting.
I agree, man. Where you been on vacation? Where you been?
I went to Florida. I went to Tampa Bay. Went to the Bucks game, the NFL game. Just had a little fun time. My girlfriend got COVID. I didn't, so I got lucky with that department. Now I'm on the couch sleeping, so she gets the whole bed to herself.
Annoying, where was it that you said you were based? Because I know you said the time zones were quite clear, and you went to Florida there. How far is that from you without doxing yourself?
I'm from Cincinnati. It's a big city, but I'm from Cincinnati, so it's about
the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm a huge Bengals fan. Bengals fan. They play today.
Well, you know about NFL as well. What's going on?
No, I'm actually not too bad. I'm not too bad with the States and the team, so I just drop it as a flex. I don't know much more than that, to be fair, but I think they're actually doing okay at the moment. Are they not quite good? They've got one very good player.
Yeah, they're doing... The thing about the Bengals is that they always start off really bad the past couple of years. Like I think they went 0-2 to begin the year, but now they're 3-3. They play the 49ers, which are a really good team. They're 5-2, but they just lost. So we'll see what happens. But they're always really good. The past couple of years, they've been really, really good. They went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, went to the AFC Championship last year. So we'll see what happens. But I'm always worried about the Bengals. Always worried.
I know you said Cincinnati there. Just to get an idea, sort of your neck of the woods. How big is MMA around by where you live, within your state, or just how you feel it as a fan, just living in society? Because
it's going to be different for
us.
In
the UK, I think it's going to be quite a different story. So I'm just kind of intrigued what it looks like for you, really.
Not big at all. Like none of my friends are MMA fans at all. I know a couple guys who kind of dabble, but they're more in the casual space. But nobody's really ever like really full in, watching it every single week. It's probably like only when Israel Adesanya fights or when John Jones fights. Do you ever see anybody talk about anything here?
Yeah, I know the pain of that. Trying to talk about MMA with people who just like your friends circle and they just ain't got a clue. And you're kind of like on a Sunday or a Monday trying to chat about all the fights and there's just no one to even like... I mean, that's why we do the podcast though, because we can just run it down afterwards on a Sunday. But yeah, I just wanted to go back to content creation though. Like, first thing I wanted to ask, because every time I see one of your videos, I'm really jealous because of your camera quality, and it pisses me off because I'm like, I need to get on that level. What camera?
This has been your sticking point recently, isn't it?
It has. I said this earlier before you jumped in. I was like, I need to find out what camera you use.
The thing about I can't. It's a Canon EOS, but it's an old camera, and it actually might shut off at least one time during this podcast because it's so outdated at some point. It has to like reset every half an hour. That's the only issue I have with it. But it is a very good camera. If you get the next year edition, I forget, it's a Canon. It's my girlfriend's camera, so I just kind of took it from her and rocked with it since. So I've been.
It's good, bro.
I know, but it's a good camera, but the quality is great. But the problem I have with it is that it's just so outdated. But I think it's a Canon M50. I don't know exactly what it is.
I'll know it down.
I
appreciate that.
Just piggying off the back of that. Jesus, that was a mouthful. So obviously you have the Canon, which I see a lot of people using those. To be fair, I think as you said, the EO5 series, and Leo, that's definitely ones to look into because they're a lot
Noted.
cheaper, some of them, than the Sonys, but they're equally as good. You know, you're getting really, really good visuals. But
Gotta
just for
invest.
your sort of setup, Kyndle, what does that look like? Do you just shoot a talking head? What's your process? Do you just shoot you talking and then chop it up, or do you sort of plan it out, structure it, and then edit it? Just sort of, I'm quite interested in the process for you.
I I kind of go into a video with just an idea of like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this topic. I kind of just spitball it. I kind of just turn the camera on. I just start talking, and then I go into Premiere Pro afterwards and edit everything up. It's just the thing about me though is I have a really bad problem with mumbling over my words a lot of times. So I'll be recording a
Feel you
video
there.
that's like a half an hour long, and it'll be a 10-minute video because I'm just mumbling or stumbling through my words all the time. But most of the time, I'm just pretty much, cameras on, go. Just talk about what you want to talk about.
I
Have a take.
mean, obviously you do edit it up, but I think you definitely have a skill there because for me,
Mhm.
I'm not used to doing that. Like on a podcast, I can do it because we're having a conversation. It's easy, or live stream, I'm talking to people, right? But talking to the camera is just something I've never really had
Mhm.
I've always found it awkward and weird, but I feel like if maybe it comes naturally to you. I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't say the same, but when I watch your videos, I feel like your content's just smooth. It's easily digestible, and I think that's why you're growing so quickly, and your output's crazy as well. I think that's the benefit to doing content like yours. Is I
Mhm.
thought about going down that route, just unscripted, just going off the cuff, but I just different strokes for different folks, right? Because obviously my content is heavily scripted, and I'm a bit more, I don't know what the word is, specific on how I want things to turn out. Obviously for you, it's like you just like having the free reign of being able to chat. So is there any sort of content like you want to transition towards in terms of different styles, different besides just talking to the camera? Is there anything you want to
Yeah,
build to, more live streams and
actually, your content.
oh, for real?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Right now, I'm in the process of making a video. It's a documentary, however you say the word, but it's kind of your style of video.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm not gonna lie, it's hard content. It's,
It's
it's
longer.
yeah, it's not necessarily like the hardest thing in the world, but it's
Yeah,
so tedious. And I
time consuming to get
just
good ones.
gathering all the clips and trying to
That's
make
the
sure you're not
longest
getting
part, man.
copyrighted and
Mate,
everything.
Yeah.
I
Mate,
can't
if you want
agree
some
with
golden
you anymore.
advice, if you want some golden advice, right? If you're doing
Mhm.
that's what I've realized just from because all my earlier stuff got copyright claimed, right? So I don't earn any money from them anymore. But what I've realized, I probably shouldn't say this on stream, but fuck it, doesn't matter. Not on stream, on a podcast episode. But for some reason, copyright because
It's what
obviously
they
all
want to
automated.
hear.
If they have broadcast footage, just don't use it. So anything that's
Mhm.
from the broadcast cameras, from like the pay-per-view, like just the regular filming the fights, don't use it because or like very very little, they'll flag you straight away. It's kind of like an automated thing. Once you're on their radar, you're kind of fucked.
Mhm.
Because if I do that, they literally will strike me straight away. So, but the thing is, countdown footage from UFC countdowns and embeddeds, like they seem to be okay with using. So that would be my biggest tip in terms of trying to avoid copyright claims because I haven't had one in a long time. Just by kind of heeding by that rules I sort of figured out because there's a lot of trial and error trying to figure
It's
out what
probably the
was okay and
ESPN
not.
crossover, if I'm not mistaken. If you think of
Yeah,
embedded as
probably.
sort of raw footage, UFC probably owns most of the rights, if not
Mhm.
all the rights to it. And then you think of the actual gameplay footage, that's probably is all
Yeah,
ESPN right
that's probably
owned.
it.
So the fighters
Good
aren't
point,
even
actually.
allowed to use it themselves. So the fighters are not allowed to use that footage technically. Some do, but if you look at the biggest accounts, they won't because they will get struck off for that. So that's probably what it more so is. The rawer, more authentic stuff is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The things like podcasts, I see people use a lot of. Someone like the fighting business uses the Sugar
Go to
Sean
the game.
O'Malley podcast a lot and
Mhm.
things like that. So sorry, that was just my 2 cents into that, Leo. As you were,
No,
mate.
no, no, you're good. Is there anything you'd any like specifically? So I know you said documentary. So
I,
any fire specifically? Anything you're passionate about fire wise?
I've
You want to run into?
I've made a couple in the past. I made one about Mike Perry, and I made one about Darren Till actually
Great
in the past.
choices.
It did pretty well. So I'm doing one about Israel Adesanya right now. I'm trying to get that
Nice.
done, but it's taking so long. I'm
How
just
long
trying
is
to
it
go
running
through
for?
the.
Like,
It's probably going to be around 20 minutes or so. It's a long
yeah,
one for,
that's
so
a
it's a lot
long.
of
Yeah, it
content that
takes
I'm
a
trying to
while,
get
man.
through. But I'm going through the entire stages of Israel Adesanya's career and why people dislike him, all the reasons why. There's a lot of reasons for that guy. People really hate him a lot for a lot of things that
Yeah,
he's done.
I know.
So,
He's had a big career sort of shift in public opinion. It's been kind of because I did a sort of documentary style video on it a while back, not that long, only like 9 minutes, but it was a different sort of foray into editing for me and the way I sort of stylize my content. and this was right before the it was just no, it was just after the Pereira 2 fight, and then it was just right that wave of hate sort of coming in. And now, if I did, you know, you've got the opportunity to do that video now because I think there's no better time to do it because his name's everywhere right now. So
Yeah.
I say go for it.
Sorry to jump in quickly, but
No, go.
when you said about you've done the Adesanya video, it's going to be about 20 minutes. What's your process with the thumbnail and title? Are you doing that first and reverse engineering it, the story and what you're going to say, or are you doing the story, seeing how it turns out, and then trying to essentially ice and put the cherry on the cake at the end? What way do you do that?
It typically depends on the video. Sometimes with some of my normal videos, I'll kind of just have the idea of the thumbnail and title in my head and try to get that out as soon as possible, so I'm not really being too clickbaity. You know what I me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a bit like morally, you know, when you just clickbait like crazy, and it's just. Yeah, I did it on my weight cut one. I just meant the most abhorrent clickbait, bro. Like McGregor at 145, and then I had a picture of him like on juiced up on roids, and had like 24 hours next to it. It's just a complete lie, but got people clicking though. That's what you need.
I don't think that is clickbait though. I don't think that is.
I mean, it's the premise, isn't it? It's fine.
It's just a good business tactic to get people kind of click on your video. Just say something super crazy in the beginning and kind of calm down. That's kind of my whole shtick. Is to like be super insane with the first take that I say, and then kind of calm down the video and like be more realistic and be more ideal.
That's a great way to do it, though. That's a great way to do it because you have to hook, right? You have to hook them.
Yeah. What I was going to say was something I think you do really well, and I actually took inspiration from you in this regard. Is you have such a recognizable format, right? And I realized because my content was all over the place in terms of branding wise, and obviously that doesn't help for sponsors and stuff. You want to have a recognizable channel, so when someone sees your video, they know it's you, right? And you've obviously got that down to a T, right? I wanted to get your point more just as an sort of extension of that. Like you see so many copies of, you'll know what I'm talking about here. You know, like Lucas Tracy, and everyone is doing that white background with the So I just wanted, what were your general thoughts just on other channels in the space right now? Is there anyone you dislike, like without obviously starting too much beef or anything like that? But you know what I mean.
I don't mind Lucas Tracy at all. I think it's funny.
I like him.
I think that the Lucas Tracy curse is a really funny thing. He can't get a prediction right to save his life. It's funny. Same thing about Guru. He's a bit like, I like Guru, but he's kind of an acquired taste for people.
Yeah, he does his thing, man.
He's acquired taste for sure.
But
yeah, I mean, sorry, go.
No, if you don't take him too seriously, you can probably rock with him. But if you don't like some of the things he says, he's probably not going to be your favorite guy to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Though, because I for me recently, what I've just realized, because obviously I'm researching, looking at channels all the time, I'm just thinking of ideas, looking at what people are doing in the space, and it feels like the last couple months in particular, it's just been an explosion of like channels in terms of MMA creators. Because I feel like before till a couple of years ago, it was really more about you guys like MMA on Point. It was more like a sort of company or a group of people. And it's only now, last couple of years, we're seeing that sort of evolve into sort of individual creators. Like, you know, obviously I started it just over a year ago. Will's been doing it for 2 years now, or 3, right? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years. And how long have you been going?
6-7 months. Oh, wait.
There you go. Yeah, see, like, I say this to Will all the time, that we're kind of part of this, you know, next sort of the first wave of like proper sort of individual creators, and I think that's such an exciting thing to be a part of. But and you can tell that we're doing the right thing, because as I said, there's so many creators coming in, but a lot of them are all just doing the same thing that like guys like Lucas Tracy are doing.
Yeah,
and they dump these crazy hot takes like in the title, and then with these really weirdly photoshopped thumbnails. I don't know. It's just some food for thought.
A lot of them are actually from like Guru's sphere or Lucas Tracy's sphere. Like Lucas Tracy came from MMA Guru. He came from being in his chat all the time, and then he transitioned to his own content.
Really?
His own deal.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. He was always in his chat before, and then he kind of made his own little thing with it. So a lot of these guys it's kind of like a huge, you know, MMA tree sort of thing, where you have like guys who come from this guy and come from this guy. You know, they're kind of really inspiring, which is cool. I like that. As much as you can like hate Guru, the thing about him is that he kind of, I want to say, popularized this new sort of style.
He did. Yeah. I'm with you there.
Like,
I mean, he's
Rigo,
the first individual creator,
guys.
isn't it? Yeah, Rigo as well. I mean, again, he's like the first individual, like, sort of creator. I mean, he's controversial, sure, but that's what gets people watching him. Just as another thing, what were your? Because I said we delve into it. What were your feelings on last night? Because I'm sure you watched it. Ngannou Fury, in case for anyone listening, is what we're referring
He
to.
had Fury as winning, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I
mean,
think
everyone did.
everybody with a brain probably had Fury winning, unless you're picking Ngannou to win by a fluke KO. But in my opinion, I was obviously shocked, as anybody else would be. Fury
Sure.
looked, I guess, he didn't seem like he was, as fluid as he usually is. He seemed like he was kind of out there just he didn't have that footwork that he usually has. He was really just out there to kind of, I'm not gonna say get a paycheck, because I think it probably was that, but I think he took Ngannou seriously, but I don't think he took him the most serious. Like if you told me he would take him as serious that he would take Usyk, not a shot in the world. But the problem with, I think, that entire fight was the fact that Ngannou looked kind of decent at boxing, and that was unexpected.
Yeah, he looked good.
Mm-hmm. But
I'd get in there for a bag for 25 mil. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm going in there for a paycheck.
It was 10.
Yeah, but
Fury definitely earned more than 10, surely, right?
Oh, sorry. Fury was 40.
Yeah.
40.
Jesus
No, 60,
Christ.
60. It was 60. It was 60.
No
60,
way.
No way.
I think it was 60.
No way, bro.
No one took the fight then. He got 60 million.
It was
60
40 or 60, but I'm going to guard my shield to say it was 60. No, it was something ridiculous, I promise you. It was potentially 60.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, just in terms of, like, obviously more going back to the YouTube game, what actually got you into it? Were you inspired by anyone in particular, or was it just being a fan of the sport first? Because I think that's how it goes for most of us.
If I'm totally honest with you, I'm part of the MMA Guru tree, man. I am.
For
Simply
real?
am. I'm part of it. Yeah, okay. I saw what he was doing. I'm like, that seems like it's so easy. So I'm like, why not?
It's not.
I love MMA.
Yeah, it ain't, isn't it? I think that's what we all realize. It's not an easy game. Like, I mean, credit to Guru, because it's not like he came out of nowhere. He's been doing stuff for like 3 years. Been here for most of us were, in terms of pioneering that style of content. All of his old clips are coming out now, from like 3 years ago. So fair play to him, because he's clearly paying off.
I'm seeing him on TikTok now, which is crazy. I'm seeing people. I mean, he gets so much hate. It's the funniest thing ever. If you go on TikTok and see a video of him commenting about Dagestanis, it's pretty rough what he says.
He's a wild guy.
People do not like him at all.
Isn't he?
No, to be fair, you say anything about. I mean, I'm sure you've had this. You say anything about in your videos. You even mention Khabib or Makhachev. Even if you're praising them, giving them compliments, you get guys who are fans of them just coming and like insulting you and just. For no reason. Like in my last video, I had literally had that. I was like praising Khabib's wrestling. That was the whole third of my video was just talking about that. And because I mentioned like Makhachev as well, I got these guys in my comment section saying, "Oh, he made Oliveira tap like a chicken." I'm like, I've got nothing to do with it. Like, oh, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah, God forbid you see me hit a guy full guard camping.
Yeah.
God forbid that.
You know what it's like though. You know what those comment sections are like. I mean, I don't know. How do you tackle? Do you get much hate on your videos at all? Guys,
I get a ton. I get a ton of hate.
I'm sure you probably get more than me, because again, you're in the sense your content's more opinionated than mine. I try and make mine as unbiased as possible.
Yeah, if I do a prediction video, it gets immediate hate. And it's funny thing about it, and then I have a spot on prediction video.
That's a good thing, though.
It is, yeah.
I have a spot on prediction video, and it'd be I think the Pantoja versus Moreno fight. I had perfect to a T. The video didn't do well, but the Dricus du Plessis and Whitaker one, I predicted Whitaker to win. I mean, after the fight, man, I had at least 1,000 views of people just coming in, raiding my comment section, calling me an idiot, calling me whatever you want to call me. It was terrible. But that's just the way it goes.
Same thing. We had Whitaker on there. Yeah, we were all predicting Whitaker. I said it would be the biggest fraud check in history. No, yeah, mate, don't lie. Don't lie. We both had Whitaker winning. Let's not go there. You're not a prophet. You said he might win, but you predicted Whitaker.
No, but I gave him quite a good chance. I gave him a half-decent chance. I do remember I gave him a half-decent chance. Because he just wins awkwardly. But going back to that fight, you were saying earlier, Leo, just from Francis, because we spoke. I posted a clip earlier, actually. It's funny you say about posting old clips. I just had in my drafts a podcast clip we done from so long ago when we spoke about this fight, when it first came out.
Oh, shit. What did we say?
Because I was sitting there thinking, hold up. I'll preface this by saying I didn't expect Ngannou to come out, start switching into southpaw, being defensively sound, have the conditioning to go 10 rounds in a new sport, go toe-to-toe technique for technique with Tyson Fury, build frames, land uppercuts, look better in the clinch. I'm not going to sit here and say I anticipated all that. I really did not. But I remember thinking, he always wanted to box. He started in boxing, and he spent a lot of the last few years only boxing because he had no legs. Think when he got the MCL tear and everything he'd done up to that was with boxing in mind. So I was thinking, I don't know, he's got a chance. He has got a chance. I think.
Fair play to him. Man.
I think you said about Kyndle said about Fury taking it seriously. He's right. He definitely did. You watch the interviews, 100%. But there's no way in hell that he wasn't in there, and he got that left hook in the second, third round, and thought, this kid is a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Because it must have been a shock factor. I don't know about you, but I was sitting there thinking, he's going to beat him on points. Not he's going to knock him out or knock him down.
He's 100 to 1. He was 100 to 1 on the odds to win by decision. Yeah, no, I was talking with my dad about it. 100 to 1. Crazy. I just going to ask though, kid, do you it's just a bit of a just a rant, just shift. Are you involved in mixed martial arts or combat sports in your own life personally? Do you train at all?
I've been wanting to for the longest time, but the way my work schedule works out, so I work second shift, so I work pretty much the afternoons to the nights, the evenings. So all the gyms around me are that's their prime time hours. So I can't really ever find a time to fit in where I want to fit in. So it is what it is. And then on the weekends, I'm doing other things. Yeah. But I always wanted to do Muay Thai. I always wanted to get into that, or boxing. I've always wanted to do that my entire life, or my entire high school, teenage life, so to speak.
I think everyone's got a bit of I think everyone wants to go into boxing just a little bit. There's always a small part of everyone that. I mean, there's always the 6 a.m. Yeah, there's always the 6 a.m. classes though. You could always jump in those.
But
I'm not insane enough to do that. I would never do that. I'm not a morning person.
I mean, I probably could, because the way with high school sports, I always get up super early in the morning. I could do that, but then again, I think it costs a lot of money to get into gyms, and financially, I just don't want to put that commitment in just yet. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But speaking about boxing real quick, the Ngannou card, why is there an hour and a half delay, and why is there a whole concert before the fight happens?
Don't get me started. Please don't get me started on this.
Honestly, we've spoken so many times on here about how much we just have a disdain for boxing and the way they run it, and that is a prime example why, man.
I've got to say, Leo, because I'm sitting there last night and I'm thinking, I thoroughly enjoy some of these boxing fights at the end, not cards, because the cards are not as good. Because I start realizing, as I enjoy the sport more, it's like anything. Once you learn more about it, I'm starting to actually try and learn a little bit more about it. Once you learn a little bit more, you just have a natural interest a little bit more. It really all comes down to narratives. It all comes down to the storyline. It all comes down to the sort of content we see, the back and forths and whatnot. So I was so ridiculously excited for that Logan Paul Dylan Dennis fight. I can't even tell you. And then the undercard was actually pretty exciting. And then obviously the Francis fight. I'm thinking, I do really enjoy boxing, but as you said, that time gap that they have with the walkouts are sometimes 34 minutes just for Tyson Fury. I can't do it. I can't.
I timed it. It was a 5-minute walkout for him from when it started, and then he got into the ring. It was 5 minutes on the dot.
But that was quick.
Entire walkout.
That was quick. He's done a record in Wembley. He holds the record for a 34-minute walkout. 34 minutes. And it was in December. It was in December when he had the throne. He had about four full songs. It was in December in London. It was 0 degrees. 0 degrees. It was at about 1 a.m. He's there with 40 towels on, and I watched for 34 straight minutes in walkout. I thought, I cannot have this. This is horrible. You go to watch fighting. Of course, a little bit of show pantomime's always fun. But a walkout from the A to B, get in the cage, get in the ring. That's my.
We take it for granted in MMA. We really do.
Run over.
I mean, what was it that? Sorry, go.
Oh no, it's real quick. This is like, and then after that, you have all the national anthems, and then the announcements, and I'm like, it's getting a bit overkill. Like, it's been an hour and a half delay, and now I have to sit here and listen to every single country, all 3 countries' national anthem, and I'm just like, let's go on with the fight, please. It's taking forever.
Yeah, as I said, we take it for granted. We really do. I mean, that's kind of what got me so gripped on it so quickly. Like when I started watching, it was just after I by all standards. Oh, your camera's just gone there. Kyndle,
give me a second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, but I mean, when I got into the sport, that's what got me so into it. Is the production side of things in the UFC in particular is so just it's
Crisp.
snappy and it's quick, and it's crisp and it's quick by combat sports standards. And that's what got me invested so quickly when I first started watching it. It was just after Khabib McGregor's, and I really started taking it seriously. I don't know about you in particular, because I think everyone remembers roughly when they first started, tuning in, regularly. So what was that like for you?
I think I first started really getting into MMA when it was the first DC versus John Jones fight. I think I was like 14 years old. I don't remember how old I was. That's when I first was like kind of wondering, kind of getting in my head or dabbling into the MMA sphere.
Mm.
I remember being on my phone after I think football practice one day, and I was like looking up to the result. I think it was like a Saturday. Yeah, it was a Saturday for sure, but I think it was.
Do you remember this
Yeah.
ridiculously vivid? I thought it was going to be like, oh, this fight. You're like, I was here one sunny day. It was about 2 p.m. I looked up and I was like, wow, this is incredible.
It was after. It was after some. It was after, because I know games are typically Friday nights. Remember, I think it was after, like, usually after our football practices, we have a day where we just like kind of recover and go through film day.
Is this American football? I have to ask.
Yeah, American football.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we go through film or whatever. And so I was just like on my phone looking at the result at like super late at night. I remember just doing that. I couldn't buy the pay-per-views. I was like 14 or something, 15. So I couldn't do anything.
So we're kind of blessed because in the UK we don't have to pay for pay-per-views. We get it all on a subscription,
really?
like as with other sports. Yeah, I mean that's like the I always say that's the trade-off.
I'm really so pissed off in my life.
It's so expensive, though, isn't it?
Really? As if he's thought I paid $4 grand in the last however.
Yeah, I do feel for you, but at the same time, you guys don't have to stay up till like 6 a.m. every Saturday. So
that's
the
a big
trade-off.
thing, though. Like, how does that work for you guys being in the UK?
That's not too bad.
Really?
Honestly, it's not that
5
bad.
a.m. is not too bad.
6 a.m.
Really?
Nah, it's easy. You get, because it's a Saturday. You take the sun. You're chilling on the Sunday anyway. So usually, when you first do it, when I first started doing it, it's a struggle. But after like a few times, it's just get a cup of coffee and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I think the thing is as well is I know for Leo and I know for myself. Oh well, I speak for myself. Sorry, in regards to when I was younger, and when I was proper younger, I would be up till late playing Xbox with my friends in a group chat, in a group party, sorry. And then when I was older than that, I was going out and getting in at those times. And then when I was older than that, I just don't do anything but work. And then if I stay up till 5 on a Saturday, it's quite standard practice for me. I can do that kind of quite easily. I wake up about sort of 10:30 in the morning, even though that's not even that many hours. I just roughly get up about 10:30, 11, and then I feel sweet. It doesn't really take too. Yeah, but I think it is very person to person, because I know a lot of people that can't always do that, and I get it, and then they just feel wrecked for a couple of days. And if I did feel like that, I would just probably tape it and then watch it in the morning, quite possibly, to be honest.
Yeah, just some quick fire stuff. Sorry, go. Yeah, carry on.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
All right, so I was just gonna ask, what is considering, I mean, you've clearly been a fan far longer than we have. So what's that? Jones DC1, was that 2014? I'm ballparking there, 2015?
I think, I was 14, 15. Yeah, I was born in 2000. But I was a casual. Like, I wasn't really like, I'm not as hard as I am. Pause. I'm not. I'm not as.
Think of that until you said that, and then I'm not
as big as. Back then, I was an extreme.
Done it too on the spin. Come on, sorry, God.
Back then, I was a mega casual. Mega casual fan. Yeah, I was a mega casual fan, and so now it was until recently. I would say when Adesanya first came up with fighting Anderson Silva is when I fully was like, I'm watching this every single weekend, no matter what. But back then, I was kind of just, a little kid. I was in other sports. I ran track in college, stuff like that. So I was just kind of, always paying attention, but never fully into the sport until recently.
Yeah, and then you just find yourself watching a fight night at for us 2 a.m. You're like, you catch that MMA bug. I think that's how it goes for everybody, and you just can't leave. I've never once I got invested
versus
in
Hill.
Yeah. You're watching Holly Holm main events. And you're like, I'm never leaving the sport.
Once, Kyndle, just one for you that I thought about. I know that you said, obviously you do a particular, for anyone that's listening that maybe hasn't seen your channel, your style, as Leo was alluding to earlier, is sort of talking head at the camera, giving sort of opinion pieces, if you like. As you said, similar to MMA Guru. Have you sort of thought about, not necessarily that you should need to know or have thought about this, but has that always been something along the lines of, okay, I just want to do this content and I always just want to do that style? Or are there other aspects that you thought of, okay, maybe one day I'd like to, I don't know, interview, for example, or maybe I'd like to photograph or whatever it may be? I'm not too sure. I'm just sort of thinking
I would love to interview fighters. That'd be a dream. Or like eventually getting on a commentary desk, because honestly,
mate, that would be the dream, wouldn't it?
because Rogan ain't doing it for me. So I mean,
I agree.
I would love to like eventually dabble in and get into the UFC scene and do something, get a job there maybe. But depending on how my channel goes and how much of reputation I gain, I don't know if they'll even want me, with my opinion sometimes. But overall,
Everyone's
I
got
think,
one though.
yeah, I would love to interview fighters mainly. That'd be an awesome thing for me to do. I would love that. And
Honestly, you can definitely just go and do it. Like our first guest, we got Jack Shaw on.
Really?
Yeah, first guest, Jack Shaw. I just reached out to him. Got the literally within like 6 hours. Got an interview penned in, and we put that up on the podcast channel. Like, most of them are pretty easy to reach out to.
My one thing with that would always be is always, I think the most important thing is first of all, you always have to understand your position of these people are obviously busy. They obviously have different things to do. They're obviously training. So because for me at least, and I think Leo, you probably feel similar to this, just speaking from my own opinion, I always looked at it from any point that I was along is, okay, I'm taking a big thing from them or I'm asking a big thing from them. So how can I make it as simple, as frictionless as possible? So obviously reaching out, if you have like a calendar, which obviously has like 3 days, they could just click, then that would be easier. That's reducing the friction. And then B, also, if you say, oh, I'd love to have you chat, it's not going to take too long. And then, of course, I'll clip it all up and send it over that you can use as well. And then it's sort of just doubling up the reasons for them to sort of say yes, if that makes sense, the value that you can provide. Because then if you can send over them interview clips from it and do it nice and professionally with a good setup that you have, then the sort of the incentive for someone to say yes is going to be a lot higher when you reach out to the next person, and then you've got the social proof of having that person, if that makes sense. I waffled a little bit.
Will is the guy to talk to when it comes to that stuff.
It seems like it.
He's everywhere. I have to give you the praise level because you've got, you've got your fingers absolutely everywhere. Pause. That sounds sus. You know what I mean?
I think it's just a case with a lot of things that you're not giving with an ulterior motive, but you always want to make sure that you're giving more value. And whatever that looks like for you, you have to self-assess what you can give at that point and what level you're at. Is it a level where, okay, well, I can give a lot of time? Well, if it's a case you can give a lot of time, then you can then reach out to people and, like you said, do an interview and edit all the clips up, send it across. Or maybe even in reverse, you send them a message, ask for potentially an interview with whoever it may be, and then say, oh, by the way, I took the trouble to, and then take an interview that they've already done, clip it up for them, send over some clips. And then you can sort of already establish a really nice relationship. And then once you get that, you start building your social proof and it'll just start growing from there.
Yeah.
Is this something, just YouTube in general, is it something you started? Because obviously everyone's got a different opinion. The classic thing I always hear is you start YouTube as a hobby for fun, and then if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. I've always been one to disagree with that personally. I just want to know when you started YouTube, what was the intention and the goal with that?
Good question.
I mean, if you would go through my entire life story, I started on Twitch first. I was a little Fortnite streamer for the longest time. I was doing pretty well.
You give me that vibe, You give me that vibe.
Yeah, I was doing pretty well over there on Twitch. That's where I learned how to really talk and like really
that's good experience.
Kind of get the system down. Like I wasn't like super successful, but I was decently big over there. And so like the more I played the game, the more I hated it. I was really having a terrible time. Streaming was getting a bit dull. Everything, I was just overall just miserable. And I wanted to transition to something that I actually enjoyed doing. And so MMA was a perfect outlet for me. So I thought, okay, how about we go over to YouTube and just do that? It seems like it'd be more fun. I can do the same thing. I can still live stream. I can still make videos. And I think everything will just feel a lot better for me over on YouTube. And so that's why I transitioned. So I guess calling it a hobby, for me, not really, because I was kind of already having plans of like going there and trying to be successful on YouTube.
Yeah.
So no, it isn't a hobby, but it kind of is a hobby because I love watching MMA. So I was kind of already doing my hobby. Like I'm watching every card every weekend. All I'm doing is just turning the camera on and talking to people while I watch the card. So I guess it's.
But you're setting the expectations for yourself as something
Mhm.
higher than that, right? Something as a job and something you can build into,
Yeah,
and earn money off. I know you're close to 1,000 subscribers. I know they changed the
it's really close.
monetization rules, right?
Yeah,
So,
that took
can you
forever.
get
I
that
finally
now?
got that. Yeah, I finally got super chats and super things and
Yes,
memberships. It took
because
for
they lowered it now, isn't it? So isn't it?
yeah,
How many
it's
subs do you need for it now?
500, and you need I think
Yeah,
2,000 hours of watch time.
yeah.
Took forever though. I didn't get it until like last week, and I'm at
Oh, really?
900. Yeah,
Did
so
they
it took
accept you straight
forever.
away then? Because I've heard
Yeah,
loads of stories. Yeah,
it took me.
same. Because I've heard people having issues with that. I don't know. I'm just wondering if you
It just
came
never
across
gave me
that.
the option until last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So and
yeah.
then
Well, I mean,
I
it's a big step.
yeah I clicked it, and then it just worked the next day. Literally the next day, I was
That's
whatever
good.
part of the program.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
It is a great feeling. Great feeling. Get that first donation rolling through. Feels
It's
nice.
weird, isn't it?
Just to see a
Yeah,
little
shout out
dollar
to you, by
sign.
the way, sending
Yeah, a
me
little
money. You
dollar
really don't
sign.
need to do that, by the way.
No, I just like to spread the love, man. You know what I
I
mean? I
appreciate it. Oh,
appreciate you
yeah, I'll
having me
pay that
on
forward.
here, so I have to show some gratitude. I know it's kind of like a weird exchange with the buddy. You know,
Nah,
I'm not
it's
I'm
cool,
not
bro.
trying
It's
to
cool.
buy you, but
We could be
but
bold. There's a price.
Yeah, we can definitely be bought.
but no, it's
Yeah.
like you came out of your graciousness to bless me
Oh,
on
don't
my
worry,
own
bro.
small channel. So I thought I would at
No, but the
least
thing is,
repay
though,
the
like,
favor.
to me, like, I don't see, like, no, it's just a kind of a number. I don't know. I try not to get obsessed with the subscriber count anymore as much as I
Hmm.
did. It's hard not to, but like, I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of just, there's not a real way of like, it's so hard to visualize those numbers. We talk about this all the time. Whether it's views or subscribers, it's so hard to like actually visualize that
Hmm.
as a group of people, and it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. And I think just learning to appreciate that is a big thing, because getting 1,000 subscribers is far. Well, obviously you're close to that.
They
And when
say it's the
it's far
hardest.
more than it's the
Yeah.
hardest. It's far more than most people have done by a mile. And considering how short of a time you've really been in the game, and that goes for all three of us. Really, it's such an
Hmm.
exciting space to be jumping into, because I think we're guys like us are like pioneering without like obviously getting too big headed. Speaking for us three,
Hmm.
but I mean, there's so much space to grow in the space, and it's give it 3 years. It's really exciting to visualize where you're going to be. Because did you set any goals? Like, did you have any goals when you started? You're like, right, I want to achieve a certain count, subscriber number, anything like that?
I just wanted to dive in and just see where it
I
took
like
me.
that.
I just kind of just dabble in to see like how is this going to feel. And then I did my first video. It was a power slap video. Got like 1.8K views. I was like, all right, this is it. I'm done with Twitch. I'm done with whatever. I'm diving full head of steam ahead into YouTube.
Yeah, and the benchmark changes, right? I don't know if you
Hmm.
feel the same. Just mentally, I feel like I'm never satisfied enough with
Yeah.
this. You reach a new high, you reach a new view count, and your videos are absolutely smashing it. And
Hmm.
then you're just like,
Hmm.
it's not enough. Then that becomes the new low, and you're like, it needs to
Hmm.
be more, and you're never truly satisfied. I don't know if you have that same sort
Yeah.
of
I
mental battle.
stopped. Yeah, I stopped looking at my view count. You know what I mean?
Mm.
For me, I kind of set new expectations for myself because again, I'm only at 900 subscribers, so I say any view count that's at least half of that, it's a good video. You know what I mean? Because I'm so used to getting the 1K view video, at least hitting that 1K benchmark. I'm like, I'm on top of the world. I'm super happy if I hit 1K views, but
Yeah,
I have to keep myself in check by thinking that okay, I'm only at 900 subs. Like
yeah,
not
that's
every
pretty
video is
good.
going to be super. Like every video is going to be super crazy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get 5K views on every single video. So I'm going to have to I'm going to have to set myself at realistic expectations. So what I did is now that because a lot of my videos get like they'll pop off every now and then. You know what I mean? You get that video that goes
Yeah,
super crazy, and then the next video you post, you're like, okay, it gets like 100 views, and you're like, oh no, what did I do
you're
wrong?
like, my world's ending.
What
Yeah,
happened? But I'm like, 100 views for my channel isn't really that bad for how small it is. Like, it isn't the worst thing in the world, and it's one video, and then I'll post another video the next day, and it'll be totally fine. It'll be
yeah. And
back
I think
to.
something that your content, as I say, you do so well is the production quality, because
Mhm.
you definitely follow the same sort of strategy that I went to. The first thing when I first started making videos was like, right, audio needs to be good. That's just paramount.
Mhm.
So I invested in a mic very quickly, only after a few videos, and you could see the difference, night and day. And that's such an important thing to get people to stay listening, because they
Mhm.
want something that's digestible, that's professional, and
Yeah.
and easier to sort of watch. And I think you definitely provide that with your mic quality and your camera quality. I don't know what mic you're using there. Sounds pretty
It's
good.
an Elgato Wave 3. It's honestly I want to upgrade it, but it's a great mic, great starting
No, it
mic. It
sounds
was pretty
good.
cheap. It was like
Yeah.
$80, I think. So it wasn't something that was too crazy of a price point. So it's good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do more editing in my videos. I'm trying to like I at least want to advance that part of the game instead of just turning on the mic because I can't go for half an hour without stuttering. You know, I'm just going to stutter at least once or twice.
Most people
you know what I
can't
mean?
though. That's nothing. Yeah.
So like what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add that aspect of, I'm putting like subtitles in the first minute of the video. I'm
Actually,
doing a
I was
bunch
going to
of.
ask you about that. That's a good point. I forgot about that. How do you do your auto? Is that auto subtitles? Or are you doing that manually?
Yeah, I do auto. I just edit
on
them.
Premiere.
Yeah,
And
on
you do that?
Premiere.
Is that built into Premiere?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super easy. It takes you like 2
I have
minutes
to
max.
switch, you know.
You know what I mean?
Because I know I use DaVinci Resolve, but only the studio version has that, and you have to pay for it. I just do not want to pay for it. Damn, that's good. I really want to put subtitles in mine because I feel like for some reason it's something about that in recent years in YouTube. It just keeps people's eyes just drawn to it.
Cut
And they
you
stay
in
watching.
quickly there, Leo.
No, go,
just because you made me raise a point. I'm not necessarily saying to do exactly this, but there was a YouTuber, I can't remember for the life of me his name, but he's a doctor or something along the lines, and he sort of pioneered the way in regards to having countdowns to the next topic sort of thing. So I don't know how contextually what it would look like for you, but he would have a video and say it was 8 minutes long. He was talking about within that 5 different subtopics, right? So he would then have a visual on screen of whether it was a loading bar or just sort of a timer, countdown timer, whatever it was, that moved on to the next chapter. And he just saw his retention just grow crazily because people just had that visual cue of when they knew that next point was sort of
I thought that would
coming.
make it drop though, because it makes you skip through. That's why I don't like. I've thought about that, but I don't know. It's the game, isn't it?
That's just what he did for his particular one.
Yeah.
But in regards to sort of keeping that retention, people having those sort of small milestones within the video, whatever that looks like contextually, you know.
Yeah. What's your I'm always curious about this because everyone's content's different. Everyone's thumbnail style and title is different. So, what's your generally speaking? I know you might not have the numbers off the top of your head, but what's your retention like and your sort of click through rate? Because obviously that becomes such a big factor that you begin to just sort of obsess over and look at, like, right, how can I improve this and that?
It depends. I would say on an average, I probably get around like 6%.
That's pretty good.
Click through rate, I would say. On a good video, it's sometimes like 11%. If I guess like anything Israel Adesanya related, it's probably like 11%. If I say anything bad about Israel Adesanya, I'm getting clicks no matter what.
That's 11%. Jeez.
That's pretty much what it is. But I think on average, I probably get around 5-6%.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, view counts. That dilutes that because it's usually pushing your content out to more and more people. Have you got? I know I said you didn't set any goals when you started. Is there anywhere you want to achieve by the end of like the year or the end of next year? Is there anything you want to visualize? Because I feel like, I mean, Will brings it up all the time. I mean, you've mentioned before about visualizing and goals and sort of putting in the work to get to those goals. So I just, for you specifically, what's that looking like over the next year?
Like I want to take things like one step at a time. So typically, just by the end of the year, I kind of want to do 1K subs. It's just a simple goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
simple,
and then the benchmark changes though. Yeah.
And then probably next
1K,
year,
it's like, you want to keep going.
I want to be realistic. So I hit 1K. We'll see kind of how the channel goes afterwards. I heard it's like a snowball effect. Once you hit 1K, it just snowballs into more and more and more, faster and faster. So we'll see how kind of things kind of go after I hit 1K, and then I'll set a new goal that's obviously higher and more.
Yeah. I think speaking of experience, I don't know if it's I mean, obviously everybody's channel is different, but I don't see it as a snowball. I think it's more of like, for me, it's just ups and downs. Like I had a good, like 2-3 months where none of my videos cracked 10K views or like, which is like, I feel like personally for me, I wanted to do better than that. And then out of nowhere, I did a Mythical Fighters video and that just sort of imploded. And then you're just back on, you're back on that high, and then it's another low. So it's just such an up and down battle. I think that's a big thing a lot of YouTubers don't talk about, is just the mental side of thing, getting to grips with that it's not always going to be smooth sailing. It's not always going to be good. I don't know if you, I know we touched about it briefly, but I don't know if you struggle with that particularly in terms of, or you're too early in that space to really care. But like for me, I try not to invest too much in views and analytics, but it's hard not to, right? And my mood is often reflected on how well my video does.
You try,
yeah,
exactly.
And you compare with other channels as well.
Because I know you always come in and you go, I've tried, but I can see it in your eyes. I'm like, I can see that you're...
It's hard, man.
He's crying in his bathroom at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I can see the tears. Don't forget, I can see the tears.
I mean, do you go through that? Is that something you...
Yeah. I mean, of course, I see like I think my most recent video besides my live stream got like 100 views from like something really small. And so like it hurts a little bit, like my little heart is like, oh no, like I want this video to really pop off. I put some effort into it, But to me, my videos are so, it take me an hour to edit. It don't take me very long. So I'm like, you know what? it's just
risk
one
to
video.
reward is just
Yeah. I'm not putting. If it was like a documentary or a documentary, I keep saying the name wrong of it.
I've never heard anyone say it the other way.
I don't. But whenever if I'm putting like my Adesanya video, I'm putting like weeks and hours and like days into this of just working on it, and then does like 100 views. I'm gonna be like crying. I'm gonna be deathly ill for the next month because I put so much effort into this. But with my style of content, like it's like it's just one video. It took me an hour to edit. I didn't put too much effort into it. I mean, I'm still putting effort into it, but I'm not like up at 5 a.m. in the morning just grinding editing. So
you can get some good reps in as well. You can get some good reps in doing what you're doing. You can get some nice repetitions in, get a bit slicker at the process, get a bit better on Premiere Pro, get a little bit better, sharper, quicker at using thumbnails and titles. You can assess the market quicker just because you've got more feedback. So I think it's a really good way for a lot of people that get into it. You never know where it's going to progress, what you're going to do with it. It's almost impossible to predict sometimes because, as Leo said before, it is continuously growing, so there's so much space. But I think with exactly what you're doing, I think because you get so much practice so quickly and you get such a quick feedback loop, it just excels what you're doing. It's not necessarily always going to excel numbers of crazy things, which isn't really important, but it's going to excel what you're getting better at and also knowing what you want to progress into, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you struggle, like, as I said, about comparing with other channels. And I know I mentioned earlier about like the Lucas Tracy clones and stuff like that. Guys, like, this is just a bit of a tangent. Guys like MMA.
That wasn't from MMA. Lucas Tracy. It keeps jarring me when you say that. It's not. It's from Paddy Galloway. Is actually who that stems from. He started making.
You know
thumbnails.
what I'm saying though? Like, he's popularized.
Yeah, no, but I don't want him to get. I don't want him to get Paddy Galloway's things because I don't know if you've watched him before, Leo, or Kyndle. I only stumbled across him recently. That's the only why I say it. And I started watching his YouTube videos, and they were insanely informative of the breakdowns and the mindsets and the systems and everything for big YouTube channels. And when he started putting that into YouTube and I started watching that, I was thinking, this is a crazy amount of information. And I know it's just a random tangent, but it just makes me think of it because there's a podcast called The Editing Podcast, which I don't listen to as much as I should do, but they get the biggest creators on there. And I don't know if either of you have listened to it, but for anyone listening, they definitely should check it out as well because they get the biggest creators in the space on there. And the information that they give out is just insane. The free game that they give out is almost unfair.
I follow him on Twitter.
And we're very fortunate to get that. Sorry, I waffled there, but I just I was passionate about that.
Yeah, no. Is editing something you enjoy particularly? I know it's probably not because of just the style of your content. It's not going to be the most, in-depth sort of thing, but is editing something you enjoy as like as part of the process?
I've always been editing, for the longest time. I've been back when like Fortnite was big. I was making those little Fortnite montages, the little video game Call of Duty montages. So I've always been into editing, but I would say that I've really kind of upped my game. I try to do at least every big video, or like at least once a month or once every 2 weeks. I try to do something new in my editing style. I try to like look something up or find somebody who I've been watching, and the subtitles I got from somebody else. My some pictures that I put into my videos I got from somebody else. Like I see different styles of people that I'm watching on YouTube, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just copy that and just put it into my own style, my way of my video.
What about in like the documentary style stuff? Because I know you said you made a couple of them before. Is that how do you enjoy that process? Is that something? Because obviously it's more intensive. Is it? You find it difficult to?
It's not easy. It's not easy.
I really rate you guys for that because it's
I don't
so
do it.
difficult.
I'm taking no credit. I do not do that sort of stuff. I thought it before because I used to enjoy watching them no end. I used to watch so many. I don't really watch many anymore, to be honest, but I used to watch all of them because I had to bring myself up to speed with the sport because I was so new to it. That's why I don't really watch as many anymore. But I gave it a go once. I thought, nope. I just can't do this, and it's not for the faint-hearted because it is difficult.
You have to be wired a certain way. That's what I always say. I think with editing like that, I personally don't really enjoy it that much. That's the kind of the sad thing because editing takes up most of my time in terms of like the video creation process. But I absolutely love the script writing side of things. I love trying to convey the story in the way that I want to tell it. Because I know a lot of the stuff I make, particularly, I don't want to talk about myself too much, obviously, but like it's always
too late.
Yeah, too.
It's your podcast.
But nah. But I mean, like, it's a lot of people, the stuff I make, someone's already done it. But I just want to do it my way, and in my eyes, do it better.
Your own
And I
voice,
think
yeah.
you should definitely do, exactly, your own voice. And I think you should definitely aim to do the same thing, whatever
Mhm.
you're making. And I hate the other thing that you've got to do something original. That's just
There's
not
no
true.
such
You just
thing.
got to
Yeah.
do.
All
Exactly,
good
you just
art
gotta
is
do it, but do it
stolen
better.
and interpreted. Like that's
Yeah.
what it is, But
Well, obviously, I try to be a little bit different. I don't just straight copy and paste
No,
people's
of course,
things.
yeah. It's not about
But
copying. Yeah, it's just about you can take inspiration and then build
Mhm.
something new in your
Yeah.
own style. Yeah. It's just as a random one. This is completely random. Is what is your? I asked this to a lot of people. What's your like favorite MMA moment ever? Just that just sticks in your head. I feel like everyone's got one, or at least a couple.
Pereira killing Adesanya in the
Really?
first
For
fight.
real?
Yeah, I was.
you don't like Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
This
No,
has been a trending theme throughout. The moment that he got brutally knocked out. Yes, that is my favorite.
Because I remember I was in New York at the time. I had COVID. I was in a small Airbnb. I had to be quiet. My girlfriend was asleep. I remember it was a small TV. There's neighbors above us. They could hear everything that I was doing. So I'm sitting in there in that little small room, just screaming like quiet screaming, while Pei is just landing big shots on Adesanya's paws. But I just sit there. But
Again, man, that's number 4.
Yeah, but I was going absolutely insane. It's probably one of my favorite moments. Other than that, I don't really think I have too many. Probably Oliveira beating Gaethje. I'm still like,
one.
yeah, probably that one as well. I was going insane for that.
I think me and Will, I think we have the same. We have the same one, right? We're on the same opinion.
Yeah,
I feel like
it'll be Leon.
Leon
sure.
Edwards.
Headshot.
Of course, for us, it has to be. I mean,
that was also crazy
as British
too.
fans.
But I got spoiled in that because I was behind.
No.
Yeah, and
so
I was watching a stream, and all I saw were comments. That's the worst thing ever. All I saw was KO down the line, and I'm like, what KO? So I look back up, and then I see Usman just fly on his back.
Oh
and
man, what a
I still screamed as loud as I possibly could. It was still crazy, but just getting that little bit of a spoiler just hurts so much.
You got to watch those dodgy streams. You never know. Like, sometimes when they cut off, they just stop working right at that moment.
Yeah.
You know something's about to go down.
Yeah,
that's the problem with streams, man. I mean, I don't blame you though, because pay-per-views in America, how much do you have to pay for them? Like,
80.
What's
$80?
Shit, man.
Yeah, $80 for.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I have ESPN Plus, so I get all the fight nights for what I think $10 a month here. But yeah, other than that,
pay for fight nights as well. Jeez.
Yeah,
but it's $10
a month. Yeah, $10 a month for all the fight nights. You get all the fight nights free. It's on ESPN, no issue. But the pay-per-views they're always $80, and it gets to a point where you're just like, do I really want to pay for this? You know what I mean?
No,
but you kind of you kind of have to at some point with what I do. You kind of have to just bite the bullet, and hopefully one day you can write off on taxes. Pretty much.
True. That's actually very true. You actually could definitely do that because that is very much work.
Yeah, it is. Sitting down watching 3 fights in boxing for 8 hours, 4 hours. I was watching boxing yesterday.
Jesus,
and
I
only
just
watched
waited.
3 fights. Obviously I want to get reimbursed for paying $80 for a pay-per-view, but we're not there yet. We'll get there eventually, maybe, hopefully someday.
Well, it's an important thing to bring up because really, I don't know what it's like in America. Actually, to be honest, I actually have no idea what it's like in America, so I can't speak to that. But in the UK, for pretty much no cost, you can set up a business and start running costs of your YouTube channel. And that is one thing, actually, I would say to anyone that's probably listening.
I still need to do that.
Or get into it. Definitely to, like I said, can't speak on the US, but in the UK, to set up whether it's a limited company or a personal company, because you can start putting all the costs, stupid things like mics, cameras, lights, they all start adding up. Subscriptions, you start paying subscription models every month. You start paying licensing for music and things of that nature and overlays, lots. It all adds up very, very quickly.
Yeah.
SD cards, silly thing, batteries. I could be here all day. And there's so many hundreds of pounds, thousands of dollars that all add up. That is, I would say to anyone that's even just looking to get into a little bit, maybe it's not that difficult to do. And it makes a lot of sense because, like you said, you can write all the tax off on it when you can obviously prove that it's for work. So, yeah, sorry, that was a little
I think your
side
camera's just
tangent.
gone again there. Just
Yeah, it's fine. It's just I have to reset it. Sorry for the little
it's
thing
switched.
right there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's good timing anyway, because I think we've been going for nearly an hour. I think we'll
Mhm.
wrap it up in a minute. But I just wanted to give you the opportunity. Obviously, you can plug anything you want, anything you're building, you're making, looking forward to
Mhm.
creating that you want to share with the world and the
Yeah.
people who are listening.
Just go to my YouTube channel at Kyndle MMA. It's pretty easy. Just look me up, KYNDLE, or my Twitter, KYND1E. Get me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I really have right now. Instagram, I don't really use too much. I know we've been
It's a slog,
DMing.
isn't it? Trying to use different platforms and
Yeah,
stuff.
Twitter is so easy, but Instagram is really difficult. It's just
I know. I
can't
don't
really
find the
post
time as much as I
pictures.
should.
You know, you
it's a
just
weird
type
one.
whatever you want to type and have a little hot take on there. But Instagram's a whole different animal. But yeah, just that Kyndle MMA on YouTube. Yeah.
And this has been Leo Cooper MMA on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, with Will from Casuals Corner MMA, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, everything else. Has been the MMA Creators Podcast, episode 21 or 22. I've got it wrong again. It doesn't matter. We'll see you next Sunday.